she'll be the seventh inning stretch, so to speak. All right. Texas District Number 3 House of Representatives, Republican candidates are Josh Caesar. Josh, would you stand up and wave at the folks? You might take your seat at the front table. Sam Johnson. Sam sent me an email this afternoon saying, thank you for inviting me to your meeting tonight. While I appreciate the invitation, unfortunately, my legislative duties force me to remain in Washington as we have a vote scheduled tonight and tomorrow. Thanks again for your invitation. So we were ever hopeful that Sam was going to make it, but he didn't. Couldn't get away. So he's not going to be here this evening. But we also have Harry Pierce. Harry, would you stand and wave to the folks? And take your seat. Find a comfortable one. The format tonight going to be 3 minutes for an intro and opening statements. Then we'll move into questions. 2 minutes to answer a question. 1 minute for opposition comments or a rebuttal if they choose to make it a little competitive, that's okay. But if they want to just add, that's okay too. If you don't have anything to say, we have enough questions kind of to move it on. So 1 minute for opposition comments, 1 minute for a closing statement, the asking for your vote kind of statement. I was asked to include that tonight. So that will be the plan. So operating alphabetically, Harry, may I ask Josh Caesar first to start with his 3 minute segment to tell us about himself. That is Josh's website. You can go there. He also is busy on Facebook. I'll let him tell you about that though. Josh, you're on.
Thank you, John. I want to thank you, the Allen Patriot Group. I really appreciate the opportunity to come out here and meet you guys. A little bit about myself. I was born in India, and I grew up in Wichita Falls, which is about 2 hours from here. My educational background is I work as a software engineer. I've been doing that for 25 years. I have a bachelor's degree in computer science, a minor in math. I have a degree from Dallas Baptist University, an MBA. There are many people ask me, why are you running? I had a really long few years with the way the economy has been. As you know, our local industry here, we back in 2000, it was primarily telecommunications. We had a lot of guys, a lot of my friends became unemployed because of the downturn in the market. And over those few years, I started to look to see, what's going on in our economy, what's going on with our government. And some of the things that I see that I'm really concerned about, I really have like three top concerns. One is our debt. We have, when I started, even considering the thought of running, we had a $14 trillion debt. Now it's over $15 trillion. And under Obama's administration, another 4 years, it's projected to be over $20 trillion. So that's a huge concern. And I think we all know about that. We've heard about it. If you're listening to talk radio or TV shows, it's something that I believe that we need to address, and we have to change that in the next 4 years. Another concern is, of course, our deficit. If we can't, we have to figure out a way to control our spending. And to do that, and to reduce our deficit spending, we've got to look at a balanced budget amendment. We need to work towards that. We need to work towards responsible fiscal responsibility. And my biggest concern is really jobs. Right now we're at 8.2% in terms of jobs. And the U7 is still at about 16%. So we've got about 30 million people that are still unemployed. Luckily, most of the friends that were unemployed at the time that I actually started considering running, most of them are employed, but we still have people hurting. And we still have an administration that doesn't have a clear, good economic plan. We have the Fed that continues to keep the interest rate low and continues to look at stimulus spending with all of the QE1, QE2, and I think just recently I heard that they're thinking about another stimulus package. So, we need to have a good strategy of how to bring this economy back. And we need to have people in government addressing this issue. And those are really my top 3 concerns. And again, I appreciate the opportunity to come here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Josh. Now, as I said, Sam's not going to be here, but Harry is. So Harry Pierce, please. That is Harry Pierce's website.
Thank you all for coming. Appreciate your interest in the country and your government. Just a quick note, for those of you who don't know me, I'm a retired airline pilot, former Air Force pilot during the Vietnam War. I am of the Christian faith, and that's where I get my principles, my values, and my standards, guidance. I'm for term limits, strong proponent of term limits. I agree with Josh on the economy. We all know the economy is bad. We all know that we need jobs. We all know it's just insanity in Washington is what this is about. I don't know a better word to describe it than just say it's insanity. 150 countries in the world, we give foreign aid to 140 of them. We borrow money and then give foreign aid to 140 countries. We spend more money than we bring in. Companies going overseas because they get cheaper labor. We need to give incentives to companies here, give them tax breaks. We need to get the corporate leaders and unions together and work out the labor problem. We've got a lot of oil, a lot of energy in our own country. We need to develop our own energy and quit sending our money to the Arab countries. So all of this, I want to say that is very important, but I want to mention 3 agendas to you that most people don't talk about, and these are really robbing our freedoms. And they are and first of all, I want you to focus on the word agenda. I'm talking about the agenda. I'm not talking about the people. It's the Islamic agenda, it's the homosexual agenda, and it's the atheist agenda. I don't hate any of those people. My faith teaches me to love everybody, but it's their agenda, because each one of them has an agenda to take away our freedoms. And I want to read you something from Reserve Officers magazine. This man was a member of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. He saw what was happening there. He came over, he joined the CIA, he went to work with the CIA. He says the failing of the West is that they do not understand. He's speaking about Islam now. The failing of the West is they do not understand our religion, our ideology, which stands against every principle of the Western civilization. If you look in depth to the religion, and especially the Shiites' version of it, you engage in conflict and war until the final victory. Ultimately, he said he doesn't believe anyone truly understands the severity of this belief, which is to fight until America and Israel cease to exist. The homosexual agenda, July the 14th, 2011, Governor Jerry Brown signed a law requiring homosexuality to be taught in public schools from kindergarten through grade 12 without parental permission. They don't have freedom to keep their kids out of it. The atheist agenda, about a month ago, a 3-star general went to West Point to make a speech, and he's going to talk about God. Some Islamic and atheist cadets protested. This 3-star general was told, you can't speak at West Point. You can't speak about God. We need to wake up people. Our freedoms are going.
Thank you, Harry. Well, let's move into the questions. First of all, I'm going to start with a softball question. And first of all, I guess I should tell you that the questions are on the screen behind you. So if for some reason, you know, you kind of, it's happened to me. Somebody asks you a question, halfway through it, you forgot, well, what was that question? Well, or what was the part of it back here? And so you can check it out. We're going to start out with a softball. Always good to play a little softball to begin with before we get into the hardball. So I'd like to ask you one that we really need to know your answer to, I think. If Mitt Romney is the Republican candidate for president, will you support him? If not, why not? Josh, why don't you just, very simple, yes, no, a couple comments.
I will support Mitt Romney. I will support whoever the candidate is, because I believe it's important that you know, we need new government. You know, we have to get Obama out. You know, and so the other night I was talking about about how real change occurs when the pain of change becomes greater than the pain of staying the same. And I think in our country we've gotten to a point where the pain of change has gotten greater. Or staying the same has gotten greater. And that is, if we continue with our national debt the way it is and continued spending in this continued economy that is just not improving, that pain is felt by everyday citizen. I have friends that are still looking for work. And listen, we've got to do something different. And so that calls for real change. And that real change starts at the very top. And that is, we support Mitt Romney, we do the best we can, and we make sure that we get him into government and get Obama out. That would be my primary agenda. I would definitely support the Republican nominee.
Harry?
Sometimes we have to make a choice of not the very best we want, but we have to choose between one or the other. So Mitt Romney is far better than Obama, and we all need to support him. I mean, if he gets the candidacy, we need to support him. I was disappointed that he appointed a gay activist as one of his staff today, but we don't have much choice in this, people. We have to support our Republican candidate. So, yes, I will support it.
Thank you, Harry. Harry, stay standing, if you will, please. I want to ask you one here that's moving into the questions, the more difficult questions. Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution. In that, there are 18, since you're a congressional candidate, there are 18 enumerated powers and duties that the people have granted to Congress. How many can you remember and recite? This is a little bit of a tough one, I suspect.
Well, I remember all 18 of them, but I only have 30 seconds, so I can't say it.
Okay.
Well, gosh, you did better than me. I brought mine. I was going to let you borrow it. Take my time if you want.
Okay.
I have not specifically looked at that enumerated powers that's been granted, so yes, I can't recite that.
Well, I'll tell you what, Josh, would you take and open up to Article 1, Section 8, and read them to us? Would you mind to do that? I think you can zip through those pretty fast. And we'll all get a bit of an education tonight. Right?
Right.
Or if you want to do the first line and give it to Harry to do the last line.
I'll do if you want to do the rest. Okay, powers granted to the Congress. Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excise to pay the debts and provide for common defense and general welfare of the United States. But all duties, imposts, and excises shall be uniform throughout the United States. Number 2, to borrow money on credit of the United States. Number 3, to regulate commerce with foreign nations and among several states and with the Indian tribes. Number 4, to establish a uniform rule of naturalization and uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcies throughout the United States. Number 5, to collect money, regulate the value thereof, and of foreign coin, and to fix the standard of weights and measures. Number 6, to provide for the punishment of counterfeiting the securities and the current coin of the United States. Number 7, to establish post offices and post roads. Number 8, to promote the progress of science, useful arts, by securing for limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive right to their respective writings and discoveries. Number 9, to constitute tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court. Number 10, to define and punish piracies and felonies committed on high seas and offenses against the law of nations.
There you go. Harry, you love your melodious voice, I'm sure. Make it sound like you're calling the tower.
Give me the last one on the page here. To declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisal, and make rules concerning captures on land. Next page. To raise and support armies, but no appropriation of money to that use shall be for a longer term than 2 years. To provide and maintain a navy. To make rules for the government and and regulation of the land and naval forces. To provide for calling forth the militia to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrections, and repel invasions. To provide for organizing, arming, and disciplining the militia, and for governing such part of them as may be employed in the service of the United States, reserving to the states respectively the appointment of the officers and the authority of training the militia according to the discipline prescribed by Congress. To exercise exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever over such district, and here again it says not exceeding 10 miles per hour about Washington, D.C., as may, by cessation of particular states and the acceptance of Congress, becoming the seat of the government of the United States, and to exercise like authority over all places purchased by the consent of the legislature of the state in which the same shall be. For the erection of forts, magazines, arsenals, dockyards, and other needful buildings. And number 18, to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers and all other powers vested by this Constitution in the government of the United States or in any department or officer thereof. I have a question. Who turned in this question?
Barbara Harless. Well, I wasn't planning to ask you guys to read them all, but I thought it would be a good thing to do. And I hope we've all benefited from it, because it perhaps gave us a chance to see that maybe Congress has gone a little further than was intended. So, moving into the more mundane stuff, I suppose, until we have another hardball question a little later on. Josh, House Bill number 822